Be coming in shortly.
All right. I don't see that green dot. In fact, the green dot's usually my guy. There we go. Hey, welcome everybody to the awesemo.com Live Before Lock show, the only Live Before Lock show where we use a green dot as the show producer. I'm Chris Spags, joined by the star of this here channel, Mr. Josh Engelman. Josh, how's it going?
Pretty good, I guess. I don't really have any complaints. I fixed a drawer in my kitchen that I broke today, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Oh, that's good. Very handy of you. I don't know that I would have thought of you as the handyman type.
Oh, I'm not. I basically smothered it in Gorilla Glue until it didn't fall apart. Put a couple screws in it in places that they normally weren't, and it went back in. It's crooked as fuck, but it holds my utensils and such now, so can't really complain.
That actually doesn't. I mean, it sounds handy in respect, like handy in a way that like MacGyver would be handy, but not in like the way an adult man would be handy.
Yeah, I had to fix it because, and the wife doesn't know this, so luckily for me, she doesn't listen to this shit. I'm the reason it broke. We had like way too many spatulas and spoons and all sorts of other shit in this drawer, and I couldn't get it shut, and like it was just one of those days, so I just fucking BAM! And it blew apart.
Wow.
I let it sit there broken for a little bit, and then it finally just fell into itself, and all the spatulas and stuff fell into like the top of the bowls and everything. So at that point, I took it all out. Anyway, happy Friday, everybody.
Did she know the drawer was broken at any point, or did you fix it before your wife ever figured out?
Oh, no, it's been sitting on our dining room table for like a week.
Okay, so it wasn't a perfect crime.
No, but she didn't know that I was like, I broke it essentially on purpose.
Oh.
Like well, you got angry whole thing. I have nothing to worry about.
Hello, chat. If you have questions and lineup stuff, make sure you are asking the website that you are discussing, that you're playing on, so we know the best answer for you. We got a ton. We got 14 baseball games, which it's always great when you're busy on a Friday that there's 14 games and there's fucking 5 on a Thursday where Jake and I are struggling just an hour to go by. But today, it's a world of opportunity in front of us. So what are you looking at for your pitchers today? There's obviously a couple of very expensive choices, maybe some guys you talked about in your video with Jake that might be a good fit with them. So who are you looking at?
Yeah, so I'll still have a bunch of Sale tonight because he's like far and away the best option for me. As of right now, I've got him 7.8 points. Nope. 7.5 points ahead of DeGrom, who's second. So, like, it's just a chasm between the two. So I'll still have a bunch of him, but I should be under the field. If we're talking about guys that I'll be, like, way higher on, Caleb Smith, Eric Lauer, Masahiro Tanaka, probably Walker Buehler. Those are the guys that I'm going to be, like, above the field on.
So you're playing Walker Buehler. How do you feel about him? I mean, I feel like you're not usually a Buehler guy, or maybe I'm forgetting that. But
I generally like him quite a bit.
Okay, because he always looks good to me, but I feel like that's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know about this Walker Buehler. Am I stupid here? And I think one time he got rocked when we did a live stream, and I was like, oh, maybe I am. That's reassuring then. How about a guy that Conrad's bringing up, who I currently have in my lineup, Andrew Suarez. He is a guy I know you don't like often. How do you feel about Suarez today?
I don't have any Suarez tonight. I don't have a problem with him. He's so far down today. I don't really have like a ton of exposure past Vince Velasquez.
Okay.
So it's a slate size thing. I'd probably have a little bit of Suarez if this was like an 8-gamer.
Yeah, I just felt like him in that matchup is a little maybe counterintuitive, and obviously we have him at very low ownership. We have him as being under 1% owned, so I think that maybe there's some opportunity there. And I couldn't get to a Sale Velasquez stack though. I don't think I did enough diligence on Velasquez as being a pitcher, because I was just like, all right, Sale and what cheap asshole is going to work? Which basically my approach today.
Yeah, you don't have to get that cheap. It's kind of weird. That's just the perils of pricing today.
So then what are you stacking to make it work with Sale and a Velasquez or somebody in that tier? Maybe even a Buehler?
I don't know. Let me try to figure that out. looks like I have the Rockies in a Sale lineup, but that's with Lance Lynn. So okay, so this first one is Sale and Velasquez with the Blue Jays. No,
oh, okay.
Sale and okay, so Sale and Velasquez with Blue Jays and Red Sox. Let's see, Sale and Walker Buehler with Blue Jays and Phillies. Sale and Walker Buehler with Astros and Phillies. Hard to spot. I have to run another DraftKings crunch, so I'm just kind of eyeballing as much of these. I've got a Sale and Strasburg line with Diamondbacks and Blue Jays.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's how fun did that one work out? Is that just all bottom of the order?
I've got one Sale and DeGrom too.
Wow.
Russell Martin, Justin Smoke, Jake Lamb, Grichuk, Curtis Granderson. Like, it's not that hard to get to that stuff.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, you're right that the Blue Jays are probably a stack to consider today because going against Cashner is a pretty decent spot. I think I've gone the other way with the Orioles pitchers, though, where after being so negative on pretty much all of them, I've been trying to talk myself into them. Like I played Hess yesterday, and he was actually pretty competent. I mean, all things considered, for that kind of slate, for a 5-game slate. I don't know. I feel like I've been trying to think about some of the Orioles pitchers differently, but I think a matchup with Cashner, I mean, he's pretty bad at everything you could look at and grade a pitcher as, I think. So Blue Jays for a cheap stack might make sense.
Yeah, I mean, they're my number one stack right now.
Oh, really? Okay. Let's talk about that.
No, I was going to say on both sites, but that's not actually true. Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Cardinals are all really close on DK.
So then, like the Blue Jays, I guess, which ones are you on right now that you feel like are going to go under-owned?
Stacks?
Yeah.
That I think are going to go under-owned. I mean, I'm going to be way over the field on the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the Cardinals, the Phillies on FanDuel. That's about it. Angels on DK, I've got quite a bit of.
People are asking about the Cardinals going against Matt Harvey. I would say to call Matt Harvey the worst pitcher in baseball might be a little bit of a, maybe not a stretch, but just a little mean.
Yeah, that's the worst pitcher in baseball might be Andrew Cashner, and he's throwing today as well.
I feel like Erasmo, what's his face, is the worst pitcher in baseball that I've seen.
Yeah,
like
not,
in terms
it's
of
not Harvey by any stretch.
But yeah, so what do you think about the Cardinals then going against Matt Harvey tonight in a positive ballpark?
Yeah, I love the Cardinals. They're my, they'll be in the top 3 for me on DK, and they are 3rd for me on FanDuel as of right now. I'm about to click Krizunch.
Any concerns about their ownership levels relative to, I guess, their total? I mean, their total is pretty good. But, I mean, there are a couple teams with better totals who are maybe going to be slightly less owned, at least at the top part of the Cardinals. We have Carpenter as being a little bit over 20% owned, Ozuna also being over 20%. No other stack has any guys at that price or at that percentage.
I don't have any issues with it.
Okay.
I'm happy to be with the field on that one. I think that's priced accordingly.
You mentioned DeGrom before, and just as I'm looking at our ownership stuff. DeGrom versus the Yankees seems pretty highly owned, given that he's going against the Yankees in what is a rivalry game, which is a narrative thing, not a data thing. You're comfortable playing DeGrom at volume tonight, or are you playing less in the field?
I think I'm less in the field by a little bit. Let me double check it though. Yeah, I'm a little under the field. I've got 22% right now, and that'll be the highest that he can go. But I'm fine. Having a bunch of DeGrom. 3.5 run implied total. Sign me up.
Okay.
Yankees have a lot of swing and miss in their lineup. Judge K's a ton. Stanton K's a ton. Sanchez K's quite a bit. Gleyber Torres K's quite a bit. Greg Bird K's quite a bit. So, it's a tough matchup, A lot of their power comes from the right-hand side, and, DeGrom should roll with that.
All right. Let's see. Sports fan till I die. Who's the sleeper stack? I think the Blue Jays would be the one based upon what we've just been talking about.
I mean,
but
we're
we
projecting them with the third most ownership on DK, so I don't know how sleepy that's going to be.
Is it third most, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I'd say probably the Angels. We're only projecting 29% ownership. I'm going to be double the field at least on them. That's probably what I would say.
What do you think about the Miami game, Miami Padres game in Miami? Connor's asking about, or mentioning Miami as a possible lower owned stack. Do you like the pitchers in that game? Do you like any of the stacks? Seems like a game that probably a lot of people are going to overlook.
I have quite a bit of Caleb Smith. And I'll get to a little bit of Lauer as well. So I like the pitching in this game more than I like the hitting. I think the Marlins work as like a contrarian second-tier stack, but they're not anybody that I'm going to have in abundance.
What do you think about the Mariners going against the Rays? I assume, is Font doing like the opener thing, or is he like actually pitching? I don't know what the deal is with that.
Font is just the opener. I believe it's Matt Andriese going afterwards. Ooh, I need to fix the Rays lineup. Hitting 6. I hate myself. I even told myself to fix this. Didn't even do it. Sometimes in life, you just forget to do shit, you know?
Or you just, willingly ignore it and hope it goes away.
So
and then you put Gorilla Glue on it.
I need to fix this stupid Angels lineup because Jose Miguel Fernandes is hitting 7th, whoever the hell that is. So let's go on that journey first and figure out who that guy is on FanGraphs so I can enter his name correctly. Jose Miguel Fernandez appears to be a pitcher and he's a first baseman.
He's a first lefty.
So his name is Jose Miguel Fernandez. That helps.
He's not available on DK, I believe.
That's Jose Miguel Medina. Apparently there's multiple versions of you people here.
What? I got racist.
What?
You gave a you people for people named Jose Miguel. That could be interpreted poorly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have said the same thing if his name was Gustav or Hans or whatever. It just happened to be.
I like you at first you were naming more Latino names, which was not helping the case.
Yeah, it didn't help it at all there, huh?
It'd be different if you were Gustavo or Manuel or Juan. I mean, I would say the same thing to any of those guys.
I need to add this clown here. Jose Miguel Fernandez. Oh, God, this is such an ass. And then who's hitting 6th for the Rays?
For
Jacob
the Rays.
Bowers? Or is this Field that's fucking me up? Nope.
Yep, it's Jacob Bowers.
I'm pretty sure that he's Jake Bowers in FanGraphs, and I didn't fix this one. Jake Bowers, there it is.
Oh, I didn't know. We didn't know that yesterday on the stream because we were both like, we don't know who this Jacob Bowers is. We just looked him up on Google, and that was about as far as we got.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew better.
Damn, good job by that.
It's not the first time that I've had to like fix this. Unfortunately.
His FanGraphs numbers are not too helpful either.
No, he's not the best. Okay, so now that I got all of that in there, now I could rerun this crunch and we can have a... Wow, it's 6:19 already. All of this is taking much longer than I would like it to.
Time flies when you're having fun. We're always watching you, too.
Yeah, well, the conversation was still flowing.
Yeah, no, we're making noise.
What do we have to do now? What were we talking about?
Let's a couple either ors for you. How about Haniger or Peralta on DK?
Haniger.
I like Peralta as part of the Arizona stack, but I don't mind Haniger. So if you're stacking Arizona, Peralta is a one-off Haniger for me. How far did you drop the Arizona stack after your morning video, I presume?
Pretty far, at least on FanDuel. But I'm running the crunch now, so I can give final numbers as soon as this stuff pops out.
You dropped it because of ownership or because of other concerns?
I don't know. It's just not up there anymore.
Oh, okay.
I think the line moved. I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, I'm not moving shit. It's just, that's just kind of what it is now. So I don't know if the lineup changed dramatically.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm not much help.
I like Arizona too. I mean, I did have a moment where I was like, maybe I should play Marquez at pitcher. Like, obviously not a great move to play a pitcher at Coors. But Arizona strikes out a lot versus righties, 25% strikeout rate.
Jake was touting Marquez this morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind it. I mean, again, don't want to play a guy in Coors, and again, that Vegas total as well, not fantastic. But I'm curious about Marquez. Like, I think I would play him over Greinke in that matchup at least.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. Can we take a second to be sad about Anthony Bourdain?
Oh, yeah. I wrote about that today in my email thing that I do. If you want to sign up and read me talking about not DFS stuff, it's at spagsemail.com. I do it like once a week now at this point. But I wrote about it today because, like, I found it interesting that a lot of people were so touched on social media with the death, but not in the way where it's like, Prince died, rest in peace, Purple Rain. Like, it was like, this man really inspired me to travel and inspired me to do different things and to go and to meet different people and like all that stuff. And I was like, wow, it's like people were really touched by that guy. I think it's sad. It's really, like, he seemed like a really good guy from everything I know and an inspirational guy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it bummed me out when I saw it.
Yeah, I mean,
the transition in his life from, drug addict to cleaned up, super successful, traveled the world and saw like things that most people don't generally get to see. It kind of like bums me out to think that he, out of everything that he saw, like, he didn't find anything that like made him want to stick around. It's kind of sad.
I mean, I don't even think it's that as much. I mean, I'm no expert on the depression thing, and especially like, self-harming depression, but they say like it's people who just like sometimes you get in that headspace and you can't shake it. And I think when you're in that position, even a guy like him who seems pretty self-aware, you're afraid to talk to people about it, and it's sad. I mean, anybody out there, if you're ever suffering from anything, maybe don't tweet Josh, but tweet me. Like, talk to someone. Just like always don't be afraid to like talk to someone if shit sucks, and it can suck no matter how great your life is. I think was the main thing. So yeah, that's sad.
Logic song. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I mean, that'll call that one.
Yeah. Also, the thing that I like about him, just one last note, is like I like the fact that he was basically Instagram before Instagram existed. Like, all the things that people try to achieve with their photos, he was like living it, doing it every single day, and going into like the shitty like egg roll place in like the middle of Shanghai. It's like, I don't know. I really respect the stuff that he did, and I think he was a lot more innovative than he'll probably get credit for over time. Yeah. But just talk to someone if you're sad, I think is how I feel. And don't leave little girls behind. 11-year-old daughters need to have their daddies. I think that sounded like a creepy sentence out of context, but can't find Kettle Marte on rankings tonight. Is he any good? Is he not on rankings? I think Marte is actually a pretty good play. Let's see. Marte.
Yeah, I mean, I like him.
On DK, we have him as an A value, a C in points, but A value because he's got the price, or excuse me, the total matchup that's in his benefit in Coors. So I don't know. I think that Kettle Marte looks okay, but better as a part of a stack again instead of a one-off.
Yeah, I wouldn't be one-offing Kettle Marte.
Very cheap though, which I like.
Always is.
Ever heard of Dylan Cousins? Possible sleeper, 40 homers in the minors today.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of him.
Is he in a lineup tonight? Oh, he's playing for Philly. Bottom of the order for Philly. Going against Chacin. So you like that Philly stack a little today, right?
They're my 6th stack on FanDuel right now. I have Cousins 4%. Okay.
That's not bad for a guy that I wasn't sure existed until a minute ago.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess Chacin didn't jump out as a guy to target to me, but that makes sense. The Philly stack actually looks pretty good. Um, are we trying to look like DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Twins because we're wearing matching outfits? My shirt's more of a blue. I don't know if you can tell because of the lighting.
Mine's gray. I don't know if it's hard to tell that either.
But yeah, no, Josh is. Yeah, we are wearing red hats. We are both wearing red hats. It is a coincidence and not a great one.
It's red hat and V-neck season, baby.
That's true. It is summertime. You got to put on your finest red hat, your finest V-neck. Red, white, and blue is what we're trying.
I have an overwhelming amount of V-necks. Shout out Old Navy if you ever want to sponsor me with V-necks, since they're $7 a piece or something.
J. Crews are not that cheap, but they fit me well. In fact, they tend to flatter your body type, I think, no matter what body type you are.
I just don't give a fuck about what I look like, so I buy a lot of V-necks at Old Navy. When I have to have nice clothes, the wife just buys them for me. If I'm left to my own devices, I'm going to dress like I did in 2002.
You'll be wearing fucking jean shorts with many pockets and a chain wallet.
I never did the chain wallet.
No, it's probably for the best. Let's talk a little basketball since, it's a little early. We could go back to baseball. Drew N is asking, and a perennial favorite of the chat, Drew N. I say sarcastically, but he's okay sometimes. Drew N's asking, if it's LeBron's last game in Cleveland, he's going to want to win. So would you want to roster him? What Cavalier other than LeBron will go off for 35 to 30 points? Don't say Kevin Love, please. I mean, I think it is clearly Kevin Love. I think Hood's going to have another shot at it. Hood's going to be super highly owned, though, I think, for what Rodney Hood is. That said, he's not a bad player. We've kind of turned him into this meme where, people think Jordan Clarkson and Rodney Hood are, terrible players now. They're not terrible players. They were pretty successful on their previous stops. It's just the vortex of Cleveland's been not great. So I'm still okay with Hood. I think the safest value is probably Thompson. Thompson's been at that 17 to 20 point range pretty much all series. His price kind of works, so I think I'd be okay with that. And I don't mind JR again. JR shot a ton, missed a ton last game. So he has some upside. His price didn't go up a great amount, so I'm okay with JR in that. And I wrote about it today. I just think Clay, it's totally me fucking guessing, and I could be completely wrong. I just feel like Clay is going to be the guy tonight on the Warriors. Maybe not the highest fantasy points guy, but from a value perspective, I think that he's pretty interesting to me because he just hasn't done it this series, and he's at a good price. He has 55, 60 point upside, maybe closer to 50 point upside, let's say. But I think overall that there might be some logic in playing him. The fucking volume levels are off. I swear to God, this volume shit yesterday with Jake made me want to smash someone.
Oh, there were volume issues yesterday? I didn't see anything yesterday. I was out of the house.
We had a point where they were like,
so.
Yeah, fuck you, TKs. Maybe I'm just enunciating too well for you. We had a point where they were like, Chris is too loud, and then Jake is too quiet, and then Jake tweaked it, and they were like, Chris is too quiet, we can't even hear him. He's just moving his lips. It's just I won, and it went on for 7 minutes. I just wanted to hurt myself. And then I talked to someone, and I got.
I was gonna say, don't do that, and if you are going to hurt yourself, please call 1-800 whatever the fuck the rest of Logic's song is called.
1-800 Logic song.
Thanks, Logic.
Let's see. Stacking 5-3 or 5-2-1 on this size slate. I would say Josh probably has a lot of different size stacks. Either is fine. I think it depends on who you like. But Josh, do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm mostly 4-4.
4-4. I still try to get 5. I feel like it is a plus EV thing. According to Manny Laura, the noted streamer who broke down our ownership projections. If you haven't watched his streams before, he comes very highly reviewed by our higher ups at Osmo. And he had a chart that showed the 5 stacks have been better this year, across the board almost.
There you go.
So for whatever that's worth, Manny Laura knows. I'm too low now? Okay. Well, sorry TKs. I'll just try to be louder for you. Back to NBA. How about McGee and Jordan Bell with no Iggy? I think that's fine. I think honestly you're splitting hairs at this point, and if you're not playing a shitload of lineups, you're fucked and probably gonna lose money anyway. Just because there's so many different outcomes, so many guys at similar price points, it's kind of deliberately laid out that way. I think McGee and Jordan Bell look okay. I obviously wouldn't play Looney. I would be reluctant to play Iguodala just because he's still on a minutes restriction. His price is a little too high for that minutes restriction. Jeff Green, somebody asked about above. I don't think is that great. He's still priced too high. He's still priced for his big games in the last series and not for what he's done this series. So, yeah, I think that's sort of how I feel about those games. For me, the captain, I'm still curious about having a Kevin Love captaincy, and I think that hasn't paid off yet, and I think there's a chance it could. But I think don't pay up for LeBron. Pay probably for one of Curry, Steph, and maybe Clay if my gut instinct ends up right. But that's just me throwing darts at the board, hoping to get somebody who's going to be lower owned than he should be.
The series is over.
It's sad, man. Like, the Cavs fucking deserve that win. They really should be, like, up 2-1. I tweeted that at one point, and it's just because of fucking JR and just because of, like, the way they've had these lineups. But Hood was good. Like, Hood came out and was really effective.
Yeah, I'm ready for next year.
I wanted a more competitive series. At this point, I think I'd be okay with it just ending and let's put it out of our misery.
I mean, if they would come back from 3-0, it'd be like the coolest shit ever. But they're not. That's not going to happen. You can't. The Warriors cannot lose 4 straight games.
It's just not possible. No. Which makes me sad. Like, if they were even remotely closer, I would think there's at least a chance the Cavs could, like, dig out, even though no NBA team has ever dug out of a 3-0 hole. It's just like it's tough. I guess it's better for it to end. I do think there's one little caveat of risk with LeBron where if the Cavs are getting smoked tonight, you could definitely see one of those LeBron moping around kind of doing that things. Like, he hasn't done it this year, but we all kind of know he has it in the back of his head. And I would worry a little bit about that if you're, like, playing 100% LeBron or something. But I would have maybe a handful of lineups where you're pivoting off of him. And back to MLB. If you have any NBA questions, we'll drop them in the chat. I'll try to get them later. MLB, let's do home runs. Why not? Okay. I did make fun of you. You missed yesterday. I made fun of you pretty thoroughly for at least a minute about you highlighting your fucking home run in green the second it hit because you were so excited. I feel like.
What are you gonna
do? I'm just saying. Act like you've been there. Act like you've been there.
No, I'm going to be obnoxious about everything in my life. Do I seem like
It's
the type
fair.
of person that would ever act like I've been there?
Maybe, it's data, though. It's just data. So I thought, you'd be agnostic.
Well, I'll be a ridiculous asshole about it, for sure.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, so Josh is the most recent holder. I mean, technically it's still my crown of dongs because it is an ongoing thing. But Josh is the most recent winner. He was right a couple of days ago when he picked. Who did you pick?
No,
I haven't pulled
we
up now.
both had him on the same day.
Evan Gaddis?
Yeah.
I didn't have Evan Gaddis.
Yeah, you had Olsen. I had Gaddis.
No, you're mixing up. You've actually had 2 in the past week. You had Ryan Braun last week when I had Olsen. And then you had Gaddis when I had Jose Martinez, who did not hit a home run.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, so I've got 2 recently. Fuck yeah, I rule.
Yeah, you got. So yeah, the overall totals, Josh thus far. Actually, mine's lagging a little now.
I got 3.
Yeah, you have 3. I have 5 or 6. Are we counting Olsen as 2? I think you counted as 2 last time.
You have 5 unique. 6 total.
It's like the difference between unique page views and real page views. Like, if you refresh a website twice, it's 2 page views.
Right.
But you, as a visitor, only 1 page view.
Correct.
Correct. So yeah. So all right, 5-3, and Jake is still at 2. All right, so that's fair. That's a fair first month. I didn't realize you picked JD Martinez. I forgot you picked JD Martinez twice in a row once. It's just a funny play in hindsight, seeing it.
God damn it.
Yeah, yesterday, Jake and I were both wrong about George Springer and Nick Castellanos. George Springer proceeded to have one of his worst days of the year, so that felt great. But for home run picks today, let's see. I actually don't know who I would go with because I went with such a contrarian lineup tonight.
I'm about to upload my lineups, but once I do that, we're good to go. 85 up,
okay.
85 in, no issues. All right, let's do this.
I actually might not pick a guy for my lineup, which would be First time I'm doing that, but I just don't love the home run power in my lineup.
It's not gonna
Which is not a
matter.
great.
I'm gonna pick one and be right anyway. So.
Oh, fuck off. You know what? I'll pick. Actually, is this even a feasible pick? It's a feasible pick. It's not a great pick. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the juju in the air. The fact we talked about him and he's in my lineup. Ketel Marte is my home run pick. It's not a good pick, but it's my pick.
He is
1,000th on your list.
He is 198 out of 236.
Wow. Okay. So look, I said it was a bad pick. I know. I remember offhand his isolated power is not great.
If he goes yard. If he goes yard, I don't even know how I'm going to deal with it.
It's just one of those. I've noticed whenever we talk about a guy in passing and it sticks out in my head, that guy hits a home run. So that's just the theory I'm playing right now. I remember that we talked about Ketel Marte. He's in my lineup. I'm going with Ketel Marte.
I've got Jake Lamb.
Oh, so we're going the same side again. I don't like that because it always ends up working out poorly for everybody who picks that team.
Jake Lamb. Soft hitting second baseman Ketel.
I just picked like Ichiro for a home run. Get some slap home runs.
I highlighted it red now, so I don't have to do it later.
Oh, that's fair. I've been updating the sheet, by the way. I don't know if you noticed. I've been doing it.
I appreciate that a lot.
Been trying to help out. Fuck, man. It's gonna be sad when Marte just has a bad day. But you know what? At least it's not gonna come as a shock. It's gonna be better than when I pick Stan and he doesn't hit a home run. I'd rather pick Marte and be like, well, you knew what you were getting, Chris. He's in Colorado.
There you go.
Something.
I need to change some exposures on DraftKings here.
Let's see. Any questions? Oh,
Hey,
thanks, Drew N. Marte is good for 3 hits and a dong. Thanks. If Drew N thinks it, then it must be true. That's my hope.
Drew N thinks it, then I'm confident in highlighting it in red.
God damn it. Well, you know what? Marte, hopefully he has a great day batting either way if you decide to play him. There are some people who play our home run picks, and when they suck, I feel pretty bad. So I usually try to pick guys who are like going to be okay, like the Jose Martinez guy who like he still had a pretty good day. Some days you just got to pick an asshole and hope you're right. It's how life is in San Francisco as well.
Pick your asshole.
I was going with the butt sex joke. You went with just being gross.
Pretty much.
Ichiro is 10 times the power of Marte. Probably not inaccurate, but I like Ketel 1 too. I'm talking vodkas, so there's a lot of good juju for Ketel Marte. The guys.
Isn't all vodka kind of okay?
It's an okay one. It's better than Sky. It's like in that tier. Yeah, it's tier below Belvedere.
I generally don't fuck with it because I just get like PTSD from thinking about drinking it as like a 14-year-old kid.
You're drinking Ketel 1 at 14? Like that's a pretty classy
like vodka. Like any vodka in general, like it rolls me back, you know.
Well, better vodkas like don't quite taste like it. Like they usually taste the best vodkas taste like water.
Yeah,
which is
it's all mental for me.
Sure. Are we playing NBA today? I am playing NBA. I presume the Chubster is not.
Yeah, no. Today's not going to be the day that I dive into NBA for no fucking reason.
You know, I'm bankrolling another $300, which I'm prepared to lose half of again, which seems to be the case every night but one this series. But Makad asking the Shabazz Muhammad of the night. There's nobody cheap enough to even count as the Shabazz. I guess Jordan Bell. He's like 1,600, I think.
I love that Shabazz Muhammad has become like a meme in our chat.
It's just one of the, and it's always Makad too. Makad is like the guy who prods me, like he's like our producer. Like, don't forget the Shabazz Muhammad. So you're right, Shabazz Muhammad of the night pick. God damn. I would say Bell. Actually, the Shabazz Muhammad picks, to be honest, I think have been my best picks. Like even better than home runs for the most part. Because like a lot of the guys, like I tout for those, tend to be pretty well researched. But I had Hood. Hood was fucking a must-have, which is funny. Right, we're in a world where Rodney. Aggressive. He was. I tweeted one point, like kind of ironically, but actually thinking it. Like he was shooting in shoot around. He just looked like angry. I was like, good for you, Rodney Hood. Come out fucking mad.
Yeah, he's probably angry because he realized that he cost himself like $50 million.
Isn't he on like a fat contract right now? I think he is.
He's on no contract right now. He'll be a free agent.
Really? Oh, I'm surprised. I thought he got an extension at some point.
Nope.
Oh, all right. Well, that game should get him some money. That was a pretty great game, I thought.
Yeah, it's not going to get him money.
I mean, like, I think Rodney Hood, I think the Cavs have not deployed Rodney Hood as well as they could have. He's a microwave scorer. He can do stuff. They just fucking shatter everybody's confidence, so they all think they suck more than they are. Like Jordan Clarkson, relative to Jordan Clarkson, is like afraid to shoot and afraid to dribble and afraid to distribute the ball. And it's like you can't have that kind of culture, I think, to be successful. Thank you, Makad. To be fair, you've been hitting on them a lot lately. I appreciate that. So yeah, Jordan Bell's as the cheapest okay guy I would go with. West is okay, I think, but yeah, Bell more than West. I think I agree with Jaren for the second time in a night.
Do I sound like Ray Romano?
A little bit. Like, oh, come on. Hey, guy.
Is that good? I'm not happy with that. I don't want to be Ray Romano.
Ray Romano
is Everybody Loves Raymond money, but other than that.
Yeah, could you imagine if you had a video career as successful and reaching as many people as Ray Romano did? That'd be a great win.
Even if I were just Phil Rosen, whatever the fuck, who was like the dude on that show that has the Netflix show now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be a big win. Another guy ripping off Anthony Bourdain.
The only thing I like about Ray Romano is a joke from Greg Giraldo to who's the other guy from Everybody Loves Raymond, like the tall dude.
Brad Garrett.
Yeah, Giraldo was on a roast. I love it so much. And Brad Garrett was on the dais, and he was just like, "How'd you get your head so far up Ray Romano's ass with those bolts in your neck?" It kills me. It fucking kills me. That's such a good joke.
I feel like roasts are like the purest form of comedy because it's just being mean and funny.
Dude, Greg Giraldo is so good. He lit at the Cheech and Chong roast. He got Ralphie May so good. Said he's the type of guy that comes when the guy delivers the pizza.
I'm not gonna HPT. We discussed Anthony Bourdain earlier today, which we gave very serious thoughts about. So if you want to go back and listen. You can see that, but yes, I'm aware that he did pass away to that. Let's see, they're good players on the room, having to figure to play alongside. Look, I think you're right. I think everybody's right that Ray Romano is a good sound-alike for you, and that LeBron kind of cripples people emotionally to the point that they don't know how to play alongside of him.
But not in a good Jordan way.
Crippled
emotionally with this Ray Romano bullshit. I don't want to be Ray Romano. I mean, like, I don't want to be Ray Romano's voice. I would prefer to be just Ray Romano.
Yeah. He's funny in The Office, too. You know, Ray Romano, very, very good career. You too, just the Chubster and Ray Romano. Maybe that's his nickname, too. For like an episode when they were hiring a manager.
Yeah. He was on Parenthood.
I never watched that.
Big fan, sort of. We can have an off-air discussion about that show. I have some nits to pick that are not good for the public.
Okay. Yeah, that and like happy endings and stuff I never got into, but we'll circle back on that.
I got really into happy endings for a little bit.
Also, somebody mentioned that they bought premium, and I didn't give a shout out because we were talking. Whoever that was that bought premium, thank you for buying premium. Oh, Louis Caliste, thank you for buying premium. If you are not a premium member of Awesemo.com, you should be. That's the place where all the data that we reference, all of the ownership projections, articles from the man himself, Awesemo, are at every single day. So if you're not a premium member, go sign up now. Try it out. It'll definitely be a value add for you as you're trying to win money in DFS every day. Also, if you're trying to win money in DFS, we have a contest with Playline tonight. If you go to playline.com/r/Awesemo, you'll get free money just for signing up. You can guess the stat lines of Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Draymond Green. Or Draymond Green, if you want to pronounce it in a weird way. So they'll all be there. It's pretty easy to win. Josh wrote an article up today projecting what Kevin Durant's stat lines are going to be. If you want to read that as well for a little boost to what you're doing. But honestly, there's a lot of overlay in those tournaments, which means that there's a lot of free money for you to win. Not enough people in the tournaments to win the money. So go sign up. There's a decent chance you can make some bank or moderate amounts of bank. It's the biggest one yet, right, Josh?
It is. This is the highest guaranteed tournament the Playline has run to date.
Wow. Oh, ever? I didn't realize that.
Ever.
That was just ours.
Out my nice article. They just mentioned the nice people at Osimo. They didn't mention me directly, which is, I'm okay with it. But my ego would have preferred a shout out.
Lisa Ann might give you a shout out.
Man, I might put her on the list just so Katie can't yell at me if I ever meet her.
Do you actually have the list? Like a list of like the people that you two can sleep with?
No, I mean, it's way longer than 5 or whatever fucking bullshit people would say. If you can fuck a celebrity, you fuck a celebrity, and you deal with the consequences later.
Jesus, all right. I didn't know that's how marriages work.
Look, if she was like, oh, I was sitting at a bar and even like some middling celebrity, like, I don't know, Chad Michael Murray, I'd be like, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. Chad Michael Murray.
All right, sure. I'm not. I don't know that I share your free love approach, but damned if I don't respect
it. The celebrities, there's no emotional tie there. That's very much for the story. I can handle that.
Maybe it's because of, I guess, where you live and the time that you grew up and how you're not like as like Instagrammy and stuff. But like, if I dated a girl who was the usual type of girl I date, like a lot of them just get DM'd by athletes, and like because every athlete knows every attractive girl who exists on Instagram. So there's like a very real possibility that like she actually could get fucked by a celebrity. So it's not quite fictional like that. So I think that's sort of my fear. That would be my reservation.
Yeah, I mean, she's not like hanging out with, I don't know, like the Charlotte Hornets after the game or anything like that. So I think we're going to be fine. If she's in a situation where she can get with any type of like A or B list actor or whatever, go for it. Because I'm going to do the opposite. If it's Sophia Bush or, I don't know, other people that I like, Rachel McAdams, like that's just going to happen. I have to take that chance.
I went to college with Sophia Bush.
I met her once. Kinda.
I actually didn't meet her. I just know she went to my college.
She did. Do you want to know what's crazy? I knew that. I knew that she went to USC. So,
you care that much?
Wilmington is, we've got like a movie studio and shit here. So, One Tree Hill was filmed here. Dawson's Creek was filmed here. But either way. So, Sophia Bush was just like here and at like the bars and shit downtown all the time. So she hosted an open mic night right when I moved to Wilmington, like 2 or 3 weeks in. So I went. It was at a shit bar. There's probably, I don't know, 30 people there. I wore a USC shirt because I had one, just so I knew that I could get into a conversation with her, and I did, and it was great.
Wow, I respect that. All right.
I also walked home that night because I didn't really understand. Like, I'd never really had to get like a cab before. And I didn't really have any concept of like how far away my apartment was from where I was. I walked like 5.5 miles.
Wow. So you were like basically living one of the songs that might be on One Tree Hill. I would walk 5.5 miles.
Every episode of that show more than once.
Wow. Okay. Did not know that.
Did you watch the show?
I have not. I like Dawson's Creek and the OC and stuff, but that wasn't one that was on my radar.
The wife lived 2 houses down from the house that they used for Peyton's house in that show. So when I like first met her and first went over there, I was like, no shit, let's go for a walk. I love that show, man. That was my jam.
Wow. I actually just have one other idea that I don't want to let slip because I find it kind of funny. What if you and your wife exchange lists and you give her your list of like 12 people or whatever, and she just hands you back the Charlotte Hornets roster?
Oh, man.
That would be a tough one, right? I'd be like, that'd be a long con that she's been holding on to. It's not impossible, though. I'm just telling you, basketball players, like everybody out there, if you are dating a girl with large breasts or a big ass who has an Instagram following above 1,000 people, there's an athlete DMing. I promise you that. I
be okay
promise
if
you
it's
that.
like Frank Kaminsky, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I've actually met him once. He would probably take care of her. He's got fun facial hair too. I don't know about his dick size. Any love for a Dodgers stack? Sean Shabbat, I'm glad you asked. I'm playing the Dodgers today. And I was talking about it with Josh before we came on the air. I feel like for me, because I'm just doing a couple of lineups a day. Today I'm only doing one because I've been just bankrolling more NBA. I find that I'm playing teams and trying to be too contrarian sometimes, where I'm like, oh, fine, I can't play the popular stack. Even though like you probably can, especially if you're playing one lineup, you can play them and you can differentiate one or two other spots. Anyway, I got to stacking the Dodgers today, and I think you look okay. I think Muncy, Bellinger. I think there are a couple guys there who can make a fine stack for you. That's interesting. I also honestly am a little intrigued by the Braves. I know we like Bueller a little bit. I like Bueller in general. Josh, I think you're playing some Bueller tonight. The Braves do bat pretty well versus righties, and I feel like they're going to be very under the radar.
Yeah, they're so far under the radar that we project 5% total ownership for the Braves.
There you go. Stack them up. I mean, there is a low Vegas total though, and Bueller has been effective, and they are in a pitcher's park. So
I have no Dodgers or Braves.
Well, you're gonna be regretting that. Jason Kelly, I don't think Jock is in the lineup tonight, so that might be tough, right? Jock's on the lineup.
Yep, I'm lead off.
No, he is. Fuck. Oh, he wasn't in the fucking projected. Ah, you cocks. All right. Well, now I have to edit my one stack. Whatever. Anyway, what else? How are we doing with crunches? Any changes to your last minute things?
Top 3 stacks on FanDuel: Blue Jays, Red Sox, Astros, Cardinals. Just like a hair behind the Astros, so it's basically those 4. Top 4 stacks on DK: Cardinals, Red Sox, Blue Jays, D-backs.
Okay, very nice. Against
now,
the Braves.
I look like fucking Frank Kaminsky. People in chat asking me, would I rather have Ray Romano's voice or be Chubster? None of this shit's going well for me, man.
You got that home run,
though. You look a lot like Brad Pitt, and you sound like someone that's got a good voice.
I mean, look, you got the home run. Don't forget that. Yeah. You did have the home run. You've had 2 in the past week. I think we are both drinking beer. I'm drinking a Bud Light today. It definitely was a Bud Light day. It was almost a 2 Bud Light during the stream day, but I have to go to the gym after this because I didn't have enough time today to do that.
I'm drinking a
what you drinking?
Sculpin.
Ooh, is that a sour?
No.
Okay, we've discussed California. This. Ooh, okay. Might be a place I move if I don't stay in LA next year. Thought about it.
I would certainly move to San Diego if I could afford it.
Now that I know that I'm I'm working from home, I might take the bite, take a jump to San Diego. I've heard a lot of positive things about the attractive, desperate women down there.
Saint Diego, a whale vagina.
Oh, Jason Kelly, if you don't want the Chubster nickname, he'll take it. Unfortunately, I don't think you can pick the nickname. I think you just get it. And Josh has had that nickname for decades now. It's not going to go away.
Decades.
It's just been a long time since you've been the Chubster.
Has it even been a month?
As far as I know, if I recall, it was when you were an 11-year-old and you showed up to school your first day of 4th grade, and you had your little pants tent, and the teacher was like, "Oh, Josh, do you have a little pants tent?" And all the kids were like, "Chubster, Chubster," and you started crying, and you got sent home.
And I dropped that baby's arm right on top of the desk.
Yeah, I mean, look, however we want to spin the story, we all remember it differently, but, it's been so long. How could you remember all the details?
Senor Chubbo is a mix of Frank Kaminsky, Shia LaBeouf, and Ray Romano.
You're learning firsthand that the internet will find ways to tear you down even when they're being your friend.
That's what friendship is all about. Treating your friends like shit.
True. It's tough because we can't really do that to them back, and if we do, sometimes they get a little butthurt. But someday.
Don't worry, I'll use some slurs about some of you in private.
Is 5 Diamondbacks too much? I mean, no, Lewis, I don't think they are.
I mean, they're our most popular stack of the day, so I wouldn't shy away from it.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm ready to play FIFA for the last 15 minutes of this stream.
You could.
Really could.
No late breaking and stuff, so you're not even sweating. But guys, it's Friday. Give us some weird questions. Let me make this a thing. At the end of Fridays, we'll just do weird question time. So if you want to You want to ask weird ones, not weird ones like half chub or full chub. I think for Josh in that story when he was an 11-year-old getting scolded by his teacher, it was started as a half chub, but then it got stronger as he got yelled at by the teacher. So it's very weird. That's why it was such a memorable thing for the students.
It's hard to get enough blood down there. There's a lot of vessel to fill. Sometimes
Sure.
I get lightheaded.
Boom, boom, boom. Blue Jays 10+ runs is Greek Ink's call. Interesting. I hope not, because I'm not playing them. Oh, is there a poll? Did you put a poll up?
It's probably the one from this morning.
Damn. I was refreshing the page and everything now too, so to see what poll we had.
Yeah, it's from the stream this morning.
Psh,
I didn't even
fucking
look
don't
at the fucking results.
You never give us the poll anymore, Josh. You never give us the poll.
I'll give you the chub.
Let's see. Any other good questions, guys? What are we doing? What are we doing? Who's the most likely pitcher to fail tonight? Who's going to be highly owned?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. That's going to be highly owned?
Mm-hmm.
You think about it?
I mean, I would say if we were playing solely the game of like what's a bold pick to make that might fail. Ooh, okay. I was gonna say, so I don't think Chris Sale's in a bad spot, but if I were gonna play the counterintuitive game and be like, everybody's playing Sale, he fails, he would be the one that I'd be like, he's gonna be too highly owned. Where I feel like that's how the bottom always falls out in these games. Like fucking Jalen Beeks was like almost 45% owned, and that when I saw that I was like, oh, that guy's not going to do well today. So I don't know. I would say Sale just on an ownership percentage thing. Like he's going to be so highly owned compared to the other pitchers that I think that many people cannot be right. Besides,
he grades out so well for me. I've got him projected for 11.7 Ks. I think it's the first time I've been over double digits. I'm projecting 2.7 more Ks than Jake DeGrom.
I get it. I mean, the White Sox strike out 28% of the time. So, I mean, I don't think it's actually a good pick. If my real pick would be DeGrom, I just think going against the Yankees, like, that's not a spot I would want to pick a guy over 10 grand in.
Yeah, DeGrom's in a high variance spot. You know, because those guys obviously have a ton of power. So it wouldn't shock me if, you know, one guy got on and somebody hit one to the fucking moon. And it wouldn't shock me if he K'd like 15. Yeah,
no, you're right. I think that, 28% strikeout rate is gigantic. I think that might be the biggest for any team on either side of the plate, if I'm thinking about that correctly. Yep, 27.7 is the highest. Nobody above that. Yep, so they actually the White Sox strike out the most of any team versus any handed pitcher versus lefties. So there you go. So look, it's a lot. You are right. Yeah, no, and Brandon T. Beeks is not Sale, but I'm just saying more in terms of like the fade the public worldview that sometimes might be accurate. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a thing too. Again, Blackburn too, as HPT is pointing out. I'm going to keep calling you HPT, buddy. Blackburn was a good play yesterday, and nobody was on Blackburn. Blackburn was on 0.5% ownership. Just wasn't any data on him, and that people were gravitating towards, and he did well. John Krolikowski points out, Junior, so I don't want to mix you up with your dad. Chris Sale had 17 DK points versus the White Sox last outing. So a note, but not really something you would consider, I think, when playing.
Here, right?
Yeah, I mean, he did it once. I see no reason why. Yeah. Sale's hard to fade. I'm with it, though. I'm just got to think differently sometimes. We try to think differently. It's an idea generation place is what we try to do. Thoughts on a Brewer stack on FanDuel?
Thank you for asking the question correctly. I have 24% total Brewers. That's 8th. Yeah, you can get to like Kane, Yelich, Shaw, Braun, VR. I don't have any Aguilar, but I don't mind it. They're not the best. They don't have the best price point, but they've got some upside. We've got first 5 guys in the lineup are all grading out as a B overall, so I don't mind that too much if you want to take a play on like the top end.
No Rockies tonight for you?
I have 0 Rockies on FanDuel. I have a little bit on DK.
0 Rock. Wow. Okay. Huh. Even in Colorado, no Rockies at all.
No, they're priced like they've been in Colorado, or they've been playing in Colorado for 6 weeks. Like it's, they've got really ridiculous pricing.
How do I get an Osmo logo, Greek Ink? You just fucking use one. I mean, we don't give them away like tiger stripes. I think I've actually seen people in tournaments now just taking the Osmo logo. I think because they think it's like Fantasy Cruncher or something unnamed optimizer sites and or whatever other sites where people use the logos. You can do whatever you want. I think just don't lose if you're going to use a logo, I guess.
I haven't changed mine. I probably should.
I change mine sometimes when I'm losing a lot or or I've had like a tough loss night. I just feel like it changes the juju up. I should actually change mine up just because I want to put the new Saved by the Bell photo of me up. It's been doing really well for me on dating apps.
You just hit. It's been like 5 days.
I know. I've been getting a shitload of matches.
There you go.
I mean, this wasn't because it's Friday. It's Friday chat. I may have made out with my first African American woman the other day, not because of that photo, but because of dating apps. So it's a big moment for all of us. We did it. We did it, America.
I got a story for you once we stop being on this.
Okay. We'll circle back.
This one's definitely not shareable to the public. If I owned this company, I'd probably talk about it, but I don't think I don't think Tom and Alex want this to be the cherry on the Friday live stream.
No, I think my inclusive relations are much better for our brand. A lot of people on Twitter like to talk that talk. Some of us walk that walk.
Let's just say my story is rooted similarly.
Good. I feel like it might involve sex work or something, but I'll save it for myself for later. Okay. The show has come off the rails. Mike, that happens on Fridays. We've noticed it's just a week of doing this every day. Sometimes we get a little delirious.
Yeah. You run out of crap to talk about. And I don't know. It's not like anybody's chiming in with tons of questions.
We've got to fill the air somehow. That's how I view life.
Ochi Blue just said Mila Kunis gets women drunk on Jim Beam for lesbian sex. So, it's not just us.
That sounds like a Me Too moment waiting to happen. And I don't approve of that, Mila Kunis. Shame on you.
Pretty much anything Mila Kunis does except for Ashton Kutcher.
Here's a sort of question, but at least a thought. Is Seattle in possibly a sneaky spot versus the possibly overthinking everything Tampa Bay Rays?
I don't have any Mariners on either site.
It's not a great team.
I mean, we're not projecting any ownership at all, really. 1s and 2s, except for Cruz. So it's not a direction that I would want to go. You'll be contrarian if you'd want to. It wouldn't be my only lineup.
Do you have any Padres at all? I mean, you have Lauer at pitcher a little bit, right? But any stacking of the Padres?
Maybe one line. Yeah, I have one line of Perella, Reyes, Galvis, and AJ Ellis on DK. And I don't have any on FanDuel.
Okay. Let's see. We've got 1 minute left, but we probably won't get any good questions in time. So, hey, probably good luck. Oh, thoughts on Marco Gonzalez as a pay down option on FanDuel?
I don't have him at all. And he grades out as a D and an E for us. So, no. You don't really want to look for, pay down options on FanDuel all that much. And he's not even a pay down. He's, shockingly expensive.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. I mean, Josh has talked about this before, but on FanDuel, because you only have the one pitcher, it's not generally
Whitaker in what was supposed to be the main event. That fight can go either way. I would expect Whitaker to win, just based on this weight cut. From what I understand, Whitaker's weight cut went really, really well. He's already back and hydrated again. We've got Colby Covington and Rafael Dos Anjos as the semi-main. I would expect Dos Anjos to win. I hope he does, because Colby Covington is that real big piece of shit.
I know that name.
So I hope that Dos Anjos wins. I think that makes for a more interesting fight. I'll be cheering for Punk as a wrestling fan for my entire life. Him doing well would be, just interesting to me. It's a good card. I like the UFC. That Horn fight, boxing, I won't watch it, so I don't know. I'm not a big boxing guy.
So I like Punk as a human being, because I actually worked with him when I was at WWE, which is not something I think we've talked about on the stream at much length. But I did PR for WWE. It was my first job out of college. And Punk I was a big fan of, because I'm an indie wrestling dork and I enjoy that stuff. And I had heard of Punk enough and seen some of his matches versus Samoa Joe from Ring of Honor. So I loved him and thought he was the dopest guy. So he basically became my guy in the PR department. So his Ghost Hunters Halloween special he did, he was a live special he did for Sci-Fi, his first year when he was on ECW on TV.
Yeah.
I was with him that entire night. I was actually hanging out with Maria, because he was dating her at the time, the entire time in the control room waiting for them to finish. So he was my dude who I liked a lot. That said, him getting knocked out like that the first time, I wanted him to win that first fight, but him getting knocked out was so funny, and I just feel I wanted to go back to wrestling, so I wanted to lose again and just be I guess I just need to go back. I don't think he will either way.
Dude, that was a bad. He should have never been in that cage with Mickey Gall, man.
He was not ready for that, and Gall was legit good. I mean, Gall is kind of legit good.
Yeah, that was just a gross mismatch.
But 2 more years of training going against the guy who Gall obliterated, who's not actually a fighter. I think Punk could win this, but what does that do for him, really?
I mean, because it's fighting, I look at it differently. It's not about what it does. I think he's just trying to do this for himself. It's probably really interesting to train and try to throw hands and be the only 2 people in a cage. I don't think he cares what it does for him. It's not like he's gonna become a fighter. It's more the pride of being able to do it.
It's odd, though, that it's in UFC, and UFC tends to avoid these, spectacles. And they don't want him to go to Bellator, which I'm sure Bellator would take them
out. James Toney fight Randy Couture. They'll do whatever they
can
to make a buck.
That was a different era, though, I think. I would find it hard to believe they would maybe do that now. Or, Bellator would do that, do any of those at a heartbeat. They do a guy versus a horse if you could.
They would
do a guy fucking a
Mayweather fight if they could, because it would make a shit ton of money, and McGregor would beat the living fuck out of him.
Yeah. Well, Mayweather would at least think he could win. I don't know. I think the whole thing is kind of odd. The whole Punk experiment's been odd. He's got 2 more years of training.
To make money, man. As long as it doesn't involve people that already have brain damage, most likely. They wouldn't run Chuck Liddell back or anything like that. But fuck it, man. If they can make scratch, they're gonna do it. And if they could run out Mayweather, McGregor is gonna beat the fucking tar out of him in a cage.
Yeah, I mean, the takedown defense would be tough. Bailey is asking in the chat when we talk about
leg kicks are what would really bother him bad. He would kick him once in the fucking knee, and Mayweather would be like, "Nope, I'm good. I'm gonna get out of here." Imagine taking a little league bat to the fucking calf.
It wouldn't be great. I've taken a shin kick before. That shit, because I think I might have mentioned I trained MMA for a year before I just got too injured and couldn't keep doing it, and that shit is not pleasant, but the takedowns would be really bad though. I think Mayweather, if he stood up, he could still do some damage, but because he could keep enough distance to his punches.
He wouldn't even be able to get to his face.
Yeah,
Conor keep him at range with push kicks and stuff. He wouldn't even be able to get anywhere near him. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. It's 2 different sports.
It is a different thing. I'd be curious to see it. I think Mayweather, if he took it seriously enough, and he's been training apparently is what he claims, I think that there's a chance he could maybe know enough, because he's not like Punk coming in. He doesn't have any actual fighting background. But I think that Mayweather could do some damage if he's got kind of enough training, but the takedowns would be impossible to stop, because you can't learn that
I don't even
6
think
months.
he would try to take him down unless he got bored with like kicking him in the legs.
I feel like that'd be the first thing, because that's the first thing any MMA fighter does. You take the guy to the ground because he just doesn't know the ground.
That's not Connor. Connor's gonna leg kick him into oblivion and be like, "Yo, try to walk around with this shit and then come chase me." He would have
Fair.
Connor would have zero fear in that cage. He would just do whatever he wanted to do. He'd be fucking holding his hands by his sides and not giving a single shit because he knows that he couldn't be touched.
Yeah. Hey, well, hopefully we'll see it. Hopefully UFC
There's
will
no
put it
like
together.
shoulder shrugging with gloves and stuff in the cage. He's gonna kick his fucking face off. I'd love it. I'd pay $100 for that shit right now.
Oh, Strasburg already gave up an earned run. There you go, Josh.
Told you. Nobody listens to me.
Who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
Probably HBK.
Ooh, you know what? Probably mine too. Because if I could name guys who I did imitations of and stuff when I was little, I was definitely doing a lot of Shawn Michaels, a lot of that like stretch and flex thing that he used to do.
And then
like Shawn's
DX
my dude.
was obviously awesome to us growing up. Mm. I assume you were on the same sort of level there. DX and the NWO were like the fucking things that happened as kids.
Yeah, I think those guys. I love Stone Cold too. Sure. And then for pure wrestling, like Okada right now is like my dude. That guy's an artist when he does wrestle things. Actually, that's another big thing tomorrow too.
Yeah,
him and Omega.
That's a big one, man.
I'm excited. I want to go to one of those.
90 minutes.
New Japan and
tough
Japan.
watch, man.
What? It's a tough watch.
I have a feeling that match could go not the best way. I'm anxious to see it. I don't know. 90 minutes is a long time to keep people captivated.
Yeah, but I mean, if anybody can do it, it's those two, and you got to keep setting the bar.
I agree.
I guess, but they just keep trying to set the bar.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
I think it'll be good. I also think Takahashi and Ospreay is good. We're getting real wrestling dorky right now, but that's gonna be really good. Takahashi's the man. I like that guy.
And Ospreay is, I mean, probably if not the best, the second best flyer behind Ricochet. I don't know, like whichever direction you want to go there.
Well, he'll be retired in a couple months or a couple years rather because of his spine turning into dust. But the guy works hard. World Cup is a week away. HBK. World Cup is a week away. Would you guys publish any content about it? What are we doing with that, Josh?
Yes, we will publish content. We are working on projections right now behind the scenes. We will have World Cup content for the World Cup. I don't know what it all is going to look like as of right now, but we are putting together projections. So we should have some sort of projections or rankings for the World Cup from the jump.
Yeah, the goal was to be the only ones in town doing World Cup stuff because there's nobody apparently doing DFS World Cup coverage at any sort of depth. So that's the goal, and Josh has been working hard on that behind the scenes along with some of our other folks on the team. So hopefully we'll have some stuff to make it useful for you guys. But it's a really bare bones space, apparently, is what we learned.
They got a really huge tournament the first night.
I mean, no, bare bones space in terms of content and things and data.
Unless you're paying for Opta data, it's hard to find good shit. We've got 63 people left. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yep, cool. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you're not in that Playline contest, go do it now. Playline.com/r/Awesemo. Just put in the guy's season averages and you'll have a decent shot of making some money. Honestly, like that's not the hardest thing in the world. Read Josh's article if you haven't either if you're playing that Playline contest. But go now, playline.com/r/Awesemo. If you're not a premium member of Awesemo, go do it. We have rankings and stuff going up all weekend, even though Josh and I aren't doing live streams, and Josh will do a live stream or a video or something. But don't bank on that. Just go get our rankings and ownership projections as a premium member of Awesemo.com. You can sign up and join right now. And Chubster, any final words?
No. You will hear my gorgeous pipes tonight on the Night Shift podcast. No Jakey. And you will get me tomorrow for all of the Saturday content and the Night Shift for Saturday into Sunday. Also no Jakey. So,
wow, big content weekend for old Josh.
Yeah, I'm taking Sunday off. Jake's got a wedding that he's at, I guess, right now. So filling in.
Hey, there you go. So lots more Josh for you to come this weekend. I won't be around unless there's anything interesting that develops in basketball, but I don't even think there's a game anyway. So I'll just be fucking drunk probably most of the weekend. Hey. So thank you guys for joining us all week, and we will see you again on Monday. So enjoy your weekend and good luck.